placed into this inner cover. You can see they're already building comb, and they've connected the top bar of these frames to this lid, so that kind of pulled that apart. And I'm just going to set this over here with my outer cover, my top lid. So they're building lots of comb. When they build on top of this, the top of the frame like this, this is called burr comb. It pretty much just means they're building comb where ideally we don't want them to, but it's not that big of a deal. So what I'm going to do is, I can see the frames that I put in here just by looking down into the hive, that they are already pulling out comb and they're drawing comb. And since I already had some drawn brood code in here that I added, they really only have those 2 frames that I just added to work on. So this is about the time that I would add a box. So all I'm going to do is get an empty box I have, and like I said, from some hive losses I had this winter, I already have drawn comb, so it's giving these bees a jump start and giving the queen already cells to lay in. So I'm going to add a box on top of this. Grab that quick. Actually, shoot, I have my phone propped on the box I was going to use, so let me grab one from the neighboring hive here. And just gonna add this box right on top. And instead of like when I add boxes, instead of just like lining it up straight and putting it on, some bees crawl on the sides of the boxes, and so that I don't squish any, I kind of add it catty corner, put it down kind of slowly, and then just give it a little twist-a-roo. And then I'm just going to line up my edges, and I'm going to take out these middle 2 frames that are already drawn, and I'm going to give, look, they're already going up in there. Just going to shake them back down in there. I'm going to put in 2 empty frames so they have something to work at and something to draw out, because during their lifespan, bees have a different job. So there will be, depending on their age, bees who are secreting wax, and I don't want to have those bees not have anywhere for that wax to go or to build comb. So I'm just going to add this empty where I pulled those 2 out, and then slide over this one that's already drawn. There's a spider. Oh, that bee scared it back into that. The bees will get it back into that cell. So I'm going to put the one that's not drawn and one that is drawn, and then another one that's not drawn. That way my undrawn frames are sandwiched between one that's drawn out. And I like to do that just because it prevents them from cross combing or building. Sometimes if you have a box of all empties, the bees do what bees do, and they'll build their comb like perpendicular to the way you want them. They'll build a cross comb. So that's all I'm doing today. I just put these bees in a week ago. I know there was a queen. I'm not gonna disturb them any more than I already have. And then I'm just gonna pop my hive back together. So here's my inner cover. You can see some of the bees crawling around on the wax. I do cut a hole here, so that way when I turn it over, especially in the hot spring and summer, they have the top that they can fit out that hole and use that as a second entrance and exit. So put that back on. This is my inner cover, and then this is my outer cover. So it's just pretty much a lid within a lid, and this has metal on it to protect from the rain and the snow. I always get jumping spiders that kind of build nests in these corners, so if I see them I just smash them, but they don't really bother the bees much. And then I just making sure everything's snug and level. And then I have these pavers that my sister put on her sidewalk. I just add that because the bees don't have this glued together with propolis yet. It just helps it from the wind blowing over my hive. So that's all I'm doing today.